so I'm going to give a disclaimer first. There's not just one way to do youth ministry. We're all different personalities and gifts and stuff. But over the years, I've felt the need for small groups in the ministry setting that I've been in. And so I'm just going to try to explain it because I think it's different than most models. Okay, so like typical, if I understand correctly, typical youth groups do a talk, sermon, or whatever, and then you go and talk about what you just heard. At Bethel, we do it opposite. We go to small groups first, and it's about 45 minutes, and that goes first, and the small group leaders are doing the teaching. So I am preparing them with small group questions, answer that I'm looking for, and the scripture that goes with it, and they're doing all the teaching. So in our small groups, I call it Invest in 5. So I'm looking for only 5 students in a small group, same age, same gender, and they're going to meet every Wednesday together for 4 years with the same leader. That is my ask. When I ask somebody to assist me, it's for 4 years, and they're committing to investing in 5. What I'm finding is that there are lots of adults out there that are willing, if I limit it to 5. They think 5 is a manageable number. I'd say, well, your group is going to be 10, well, then they kind of back off. So we do Invest in 5, and I prepare them to be the teachers of their group. And the group goes like this. We talk about the week. So there's sharing of their life. A lot of times we can't brag about what we have accomplished or what God has blessed us with because we feel like that's pride. So we do what's good has happened in the last week and maybe share what's not gone well. So there's some intimacy that's going on, getting to know each other. Then there's a study time, which is maybe about a half an hour through the questions. And then at the end, there's a prayer time. Then we all gather together for praise and worship, where I get about 5 minutes to say, this is what you should have learned. Because we know the freshman boys are not going to get as much out of it as the senior girls. Senior boys, no, just kidding. But there's different expectations. So when I ask someone to start with freshmen, they're going to have that 45-minute period, but their getting to know each other is going to be longer, and their teaching is going to be a little bit shorter because they don't have that same attention span. But it's still a good experience because they're learning to relate to each other, and as the years go along, the study time continues to grow and grow. And by the senior year, because they've gotten to know their leader and each other, there is some really deep conversations that go on about Scripture. So that is kind of the concept that we do. So I'm investing in the small group leaders, and they're investing in their kids. I don't think, personally for me, that I have the energy to invest in every student that shows up at our youth group. So by delegating it out, if they're only investing in 5, they can get intimate and deep with each of their kids, and it grows as the years go on. So my goal is to invest in those leaders because I want them to stay for 4 years. And so I'm going to give them their lessons, small group questions by Monday morning. So they have 2 to 3 days to look it over. So there's no prep on their part except for reading it. And then I will try to, when they first start, check on them, make sure everything's going well in their small group. And if there's any issues, I would step in. And then I want them to know that they're appreciated. And so the different gift cards throughout the year to just say, Bethel Church appreciates you. Thank you for what you're doing. And unless they have to move out of town, in general, they are staying for all 4 years. And usually saying it was, when the kids were freshmen, it was difficult, but it all paid off in their senior year. So that's kind of the model that we're doing. What I see coming out of it is when you limit to 5, they know that if they're not there, that's a big loss. There's a commitment to being there. With only 5, your introverts will naturally feel comfortable talking. Maybe not right away, but eventually they're talking. So that's why we keep it to 5. Over time, they learn to trust each other so they can share things in a safe environment with the people that they're with and their leader. I also believe that they need to verbalize their faith or the questions that they have. If you're a passive listener, you can say, oh, it's making sense to me, but until it comes out of their mouth, they really haven't owned it. So in a conversation style of teaching, they're going to have to say something and say a concrete thing, and it's not just everything jumbled up in their heads. And the other thing that I do for small group leaders is I ask them to just not invest on Wednesday nights, but invest in their lives throughout the week. So to do that, I give them athletic passes to all the schools in the area so that they can go for free. I don't want them to have to pay anything out of their pocket to go invest in the kids. And then we do one kind of fun thing. If the students see me or one of their leaders at their games or concerts, we do selfies. So this has really worked well for us. I'll just use myself. If I show up to a game, it used to be, a wave from across the gym. Now they come running to me. Because then we'll take a selfie together. And the next youth group time, they get a piece of candy, 10-cent piece of candy, but their picture gets posted on the screen. They love that. And you're welcome to use that. That's worked really well. They are looking for you when you show up at their events and stuff. They're looking for their leaders at all throughout the whole week and not just on Wednesdays. And one of the reasons I like to be short, because then you feel like you got a break. So I'm done.